Is it true that Sally Field was relieved when Burt Reynolds died? Sally Field speaks out about Burt Reynolds.
He was a complicated man.
Really revealing your innermost pains and shameful parts that feel shameful are almost impossible to verbalize.
But Burt had very warm feelings for Sally. He tried to get her attention for the rest of his life.
I try, but she doesn't seem to be as interested as I am to have the relationship start up again.
Why did Sally get mad at Burt? Burt and Sally met on set and dated for nearly 5 years.
We'd known each other about 4 days at that point. 4 days felt like 4 years. You can see it in our faces.
Probably when I fell in love with her. Well, there was a lot of other reasons too, but she was so gutty.
Burt was very popular among women.
You had quite the ladies' man reputation
I did?
over the years.
Oh.
Yes, you did.
But Burt wanted to meet someone special, and finally, Sally appeared in his life.
Who would you consider the love of your life?
Well, she was 7 when I fell in love with her. She stayed 7 for about 11 years. I would say Sally.
At first, Sally was crazy about Burt too.
The nature of it wasn't just oh, this is a love affair. Some ingredient between us having to do with my caretaking and him needing to be taken care of.
They seemed like the perfect couple for years, but unfortunately, their happiness didn't last long.
It was one of the great regrets of my life. I never had a love affair like that.
It was a hugely important part of my life, but for a very short period of my life.
Why did such a beautiful couple break up? Why didn't Burt ever decide to get engaged to Sally?
When she wanted to get married, the whole word set me into spasms. And then when I was ready, and she didn't want to get married. So it went back and forth like that for 4 or 5 years, and we finally broke up.
We were a perfect match of flaws.
Right.
We went together very well, but not necessarily for the right reasons.
After Burt and Sally broke up, they stopped talking. Why did they make such a radical decision? Maybe their breakup was too painful.
I was just an idiot. I was working all the time.
It's who he was, and a man of his time, and needed the women that he was with to represent him in a certain way.
For Sally, it wasn't easy to be Burt's woman.
I couldn't be myself. I was absent from, I was behaving the way I was taught, and that is to be loved, I had to disappear.
And she understood this problem from the start. By the time we met, the weight of his stardom had become a way for Burt to control everyone around him. And from the moment I walked through the door, it was a way to control me. Sally was forced to escape Burt.
I definitely remember that. I mean, I'm old. I've been very lucky. I've met some wonderful ladies.
Who's the one that got away?
Sally. Yeah.
I used some profanity, and I knew full well what I was doing. I knew it would be picked up, and there was no other word that fit there but that word.
Over the years, Burt realized that Sally had been the best woman in his life.
You have said recently that you still miss her terribly. She is the love of your life.
I do miss her. She was the best actress I ever worked with.
He never stopped trying to win back the love of his life.
I really didn't speak with him for the last 30 years of his life. And I would feel him kind of reach out to me via the press.
I've gotten very sweet messages, like get a girl and be happy. And I'm thinking, but that's not what I meant, I haven't gotten any, let's try it again. I'm still looking for her. They don't.
But Sally was steadfast.
I do silly things. I drop her notes and postcards and things like that. I'm going to start sending money.
Burt suffered greatly knowing that he was responsible for everything.
Depressed, alone.
It was that, because if I was actually dying of, that. And it was awful. It was really an awful period.
Did Sally never think to take pity on him and give him a second chance?
I certainly never wanted to hurt him any more than I already had. And I knew this book would hurt him, even though I try to paint him as a colorful human being that he was. So I don't know. He will always be in my heart, in my history.
Sally forgave Burt a long time ago, but she knew they weren't meant to be together anymore. But she always considered him an important part of her life.
He will always be in my heart and my history, and I think at least he's not hurting right now.
Do you think they could have been happy together?